Hello all, welcome to the live session of Narayana IAS Academy. Today we've actually picked up an article which was relevant to the advisory on organ transplantation in India. So this particular news had actually appeared in both your Hindu as well as the Indian Express. So let us actually understand what this particular article is about. It is titled as Advisory on Organ Transplantation may be put up at the airports. So what this particular article has been discussing about is that as we know that there has been a significant increase in the number of foreigners who are actually visiting India for this particular process of organ transplantation for various reasons because of their affordability and for other reasons associated, okay. And also the improving healthcare of India is one of the reasons why foreigners actually visit here for this process of organ transplantation. However, since the number has significantly risen, what has the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare had decided is that they decided to come up with an advisory in order to sensitize these foreign patients regarding the legal as well as the regulatory framework that actually surrounds this process of organ transplantation in India, so that they are aware before they actually enter India. So this particular topic discusses about organ transplantation as well as donation in India, and also this particular statutory body of NATO, which is very important, and it can be asked in your prelims examination as well. And also we can map this particular topic to governance under prelims examination and for the mains examination under GS paper 2, government policies as well as interventions, okay. So moving forward, there has been a question in the previous year in 2019 in your prelims examination regarding the solid waste management rules of 2016, okay. So such kind of rules, such kind of advisories and the drafts that has been actually released by the government and specific provisions of the same are very important for your prelims examination, because even for example the women reservation bill of 2023 was asked in your prelims examination regarding what is the tenure that it will be implemented in, whether it is in the 18th Lok Sabha and whether it will actually stay in existence for 5 years or not, whether it will happen after the census or the delimitation process of 2026. So this kind of discussion and your deep knowledge on all these things is very important for your prelims examination. So moving forward, let us understand what this particular article is discussing about, okay. So as we know that there is a greater number of foreigners visiting India in order to undergo organ transplantation, the Ministry of Health as well as Family Welfare has issued an advisory in order to sensitize the international patients to the organ transplant protocol as well as to make them aware of the legal framework in the country. So moving forward, if getting into the understanding of legal framework for the organ transplantation in India, in 1994 there was the Transplantation of Human Organs Act, that is the THOA, was promulgated by the government of India, okay, when in 1994. So what are the provisions under this act and what does this particular act allow for with respect to organ transplantation? It regulates the removal, the storage as well as the transplantation of the human organs. Also, it allows for the transplantation of organs from both the living as well as the deceased donors. This is very important. And with respect to the jurisdiction of this particular act, it applies to all the states as well as the UTs across India except for 2 states, that is Andhra Pradesh as well as Telangana. And here it is important because these 2 states actually have their own act on this particular subject, as it is important to know that health is a state subject. So here you need to know what are the subjects under the union list, the state list as well as the concurrent list, and what are the list of subjects that have been transferred from the union to the concurrent list and to the state list respectively, okay. So this act also made the commercialization of the organs a very a punishable offense, and also legalized the concept of brain death in India, allowing the deceased donation by obtaining organs from the brainstem dead persons, okay. Then moving forward, let us understand about this particular statutory body of NATO, which stands for National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization, okay. So this is actually NATO, and about it is actually a statutory body, and this was established under this particular act, that is Transplantation of Human Organs Act of 1994. If you look at the objectives and the functioning, the aim is actually to improve the access to transplantation for the needy citizens, for that is by promoting the organ donation, and it is under the parent organization of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and it actually has two divisions under it. One is the National Human Organ and Tissue Removal and Storage Network, and the next one is National Biomaterial Center, which is also called as the National Tissue Bank. Okay, so let us look at the functions of these two. The first network, it functions as an apex center for procuring, the registry and distribution of organs as well as tissues in the country. The next one, as the name suggests, that is the National Tissue Bank. It aims to fill the gap between the demand and the supply, as well as the quality assurance in the availability of various tissues. Okay, so these are all the static part that you just need to cram it up, because there's no logical understanding or the dynamic things that you need to apply to it. So these are static things. Now coming on to the key rules which are actually related to the organ transplantation for foreigners in India. First one, medical visa is actually required. Here, the foreign nationals must actually obtain a medical visa specifically for the purpose of undergoing organ transplantation in India. So, if you are a foreigner and who aspires to come to India for your organ to be transplanted, you need to possess a medical visa. So, age requirement for the donors over here, note it is the donors. Okay, so all living donors must be aged 18 or above. Okay, so this they may actually trick you by asking 21 or above, 30 or above, etc. So this is actually important. Now what are the restrictions on the donors? No Indian donor is allowed or permitted to donate organs to a foreign recipient unless and until the recipient is a near relative. So what is the definition of near relative that is actually mentioned? It includes the spouse, the son, the daughter, the father, mother, brother, sister, grandfather, grandmother, grandson or granddaughter. So these are actually classified, or they are composed of something called as the near relative. Now moving forward, certification of relationship. Who will actually certify the relationship whether you are eligible under the status of close relative or not? First one is, the relationship between the donor and the recipient must be certified by a senior official of the embassy of the recipient's country, okay, of origin in India. Next one, if there is no diplomatic establishment of the recipient's country in India, then the certificate must be issued by the government of the recipient's country. The next one, in case of deceased donors, what happens is, foreigners can actually register through their treating hospitals to be included in the waiting list registry for the organs from the deceased donors. This is in case of the dead persons. And also, allocation of organs from the deceased donors to the foreigners will only be considered when no Indian patient is actually available to receive the organ. So foreigners actually come next. Okay, it will only first the Indians will actually be given the priority. And also, if you see, there is a strict prohibition on the commercial dealing. Here it says that commercial dealing in the human organs or tissues is actually strictly prohibited and punishable by law in India. Okay, so with this we've actually come to the conclusion of discussing a very simple topic of NATO, as well as what are the provisions which are available for the foreigners who can accrue to this process of organ transplantation in India. So for many such live videos and updates, please do like, share and subscribe to Narayana IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.